Good evening. You've just been listening to the music of Rufus Jones and the drumming of Stewart Gunter. My name is Jamal Abdel Chaston, Artistic Director and co-founder of the Breath Project. I'd first like to start by acknowledging that we are on indigenous land of the Alumni and Constanoan tribes. And with that, I'd like to welcome you to the Breath Project's inaugural virtual theater festival, 846. 8 minutes and 46 seconds is a long time. The Breath Project was born after the world witnessed the monsterish murder of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. As artists, myself and Marika Gabori, who is the co-founder and managing director of the Breath Project, were responding to a question we were asking ourselves: what can we do? And due to family health issues, I couldn't be out marching like I used to do in the 90s. And the Breath Project was our what. It was what we could do. And Marika suggested that I write an 8-minute and 46-second monologue. Once I decided to do that, we saw the value in it, and we decided to film it at Palo, Alto Children's Theater, where I am today. Marika also had a great idea. She thought, well, there must be other artists around the country responding in similar ways. Wouldn't it be great if there was a place where they can put that work other than YouTube, Facebook, what have you? Something that was more specific, and thus the archive was born. We talked a little bit about possibly taking the video we had recorded and seeing if there was some kind of virtual festivals going on around the country. And the next day I went back to her and I said, why don't we do our own virtual festival? And then from there, we settled on the idea that the festival would feature BIPOC theater artists, Black, Indigenous, artists of color. Before sheltering in, I had just returned from Cincinnati Playhouse, debuting a play called Americas with Universal's Theater Ensemble. And so it made sense that that was the first call I made. I spoke with Daniel Robinson, who is the education director at Cincinnati Playhouse. And based on her offerings of resources, I walked away from that conversation understanding the power that this initiative could have and the impact that it could have. We then decided to bring on theater partners. Now, initially, we were thinking maybe just 2 to 3 partners per region, and I'm happy to say that we far exceeded that with 24 theater partners across the country, from Hawaii to New York. Now, we've asked each partner to commit to several things. And understand, when we asked, the fact that they came on as partners in itself was huge, because American theater had been decimated like so many other industries across the country, 70 to 80% of staff being laid off. So once they came on board, we asked them if they could offer resources to the artists who might need them, whether they needed a video camera or a space to film in, or just support. We then asked them that they bring on a BIPOC curator so that they could curate the selections. And then we asked them that they produce live work when time would allow, to take the works that we have received and take some of that work and produce some live theater. Which brings us to this weekend. The 24 artist videos you will see over today and tomorrow, throughout today and tomorrow, we had asked those artists to be as fearless and as creative as possible, whether they filmed it in the street, whether they filmed it in their bedroom, whether they filmed it under a sheet or on a stage. Now, in this moment in time, where American history, where American theater, the idea of what theater is being challenged, we want to make sure that you yourselves are challenged, right? The capturing of this work was all about creating a living time capsule. So in finalizing our mission statement, we decided through partnership, and we were clear that it could only take place through partnership. The Breath Project's mission, along with our partners, is to utilize art, action, and advocacy. And we seek to build a more equitable theater community in this country and actively dismantle structural racism in the American theater. It's a big task, but with partners, we can do it. Now, these artists tonight have important voices that you need to hear. Their works are powerful, passionate, fearless, honest, joyful, and painful. The idea, like I said, of what American theater is in this moment is being challenged. So allow yourselves to be challenged. And at any moment, if you are feeling uncomfortable about the content, what you're hearing, and you want to get up and walk away from your screen, I ask you this: stick it out, because 8 minutes and 46 seconds is a long time. I'm sure it was long for Mr. Floyd as well. So with that said, I would like to welcome you to the Breath Project's Living Time Capsule.
Hello, I'm Judge Lucky, a Breath Project curator. I'm speaking to you from the Palo Alto Children's Theater, where I serve as the managing artistic director here in Palo Alto, California. We're very proud to be a theater partner with the Breath Project, and we also serve as a co-presenter, providing technical and production assistance for today's event. Since the Children's Theater was founded in 1932, the social and emotional well-being of children and youth has been at the center of our mission. The performance that you're about to watch was commissioned by the Palo Alto Children's Theater and features one of our young performers. This is Say Hello, Stewart.
This is Stewart. Say hello, Stewart. My name's not Stewart. Your name is Stewart. Stop being difficult. I'm not being difficult. I just like to have my own identity. I need you to be who I need you to be. Is it because you're lonely? Stewart. All right. This is Stewart. Say hello, Stewart. Hello, Stewart. So, how have you liked staying home during the pandemic? At first, I liked it. Not having to wake up for school at 6 in the morning was nice. And when we first started Zoom classes, it was really exciting because I knew I would get to see all my friends. But then it wasn't. I wanted to see my friends, like really see my friends, especially Miguel. Well, you and your family must have fun together. It's just me and my mom right now. So, you don't have any siblings? No. I don't mean to pry, but where's your dad? He's in India, taking care of my grandmother. He was supposed to come back, but he can't get a visa. That's too bad. Yeah. Well, you and your mom must have fun together. We did. At first, she couldn't go to work, so we played tons of games and did a bunch of crafts and stuff, but then she had to go back to work because she's an essential worker. And so all I did was Zoom and Netflix, a lot, especially anything Marvel. Aren't you kinda young to be home alone? I'm 11, and I'll be 12 in November. Plus, Mrs. Ignacio lives next door, and she checks in on me twice a day. So, is it fun staying home alone? Like you get to eat whatever you want and you... You already said you watch a lot of Netflix. So, what else do you do? I get bored. I get lonely. I cry sometimes, but I don't tell my mom. But now you don't have to shelter in. You can go out. You can go out as long as you put a mask on, and you can call Miguel and go to the park, as long as you practice social distancing. Right? My mom isn't comfortable with me going out while she's at work because if something happens, she's too far away. Plus, I have autoimmune disease, and with all the smoke from the fires, she says that I can get really sick if I'm not careful. What's an automobile disease? Autoimmune disease, Basically, it means that if I get sick, it's way worse for me than it is for most kids. Oh. Every day, it hits a little bit closer to home. What does that mean? Every day, out my window, I see an ambulance take away someone who lives on my block. 2 people in my building have gotten pretty sick with the coronavirus. It's scary. That's why my mom doesn't want me going outside right now. So, I gotta tell you, Stewart, I'm not doing that well without real people. I feel a breakdown coming. It's okay. Which is why I've actually been meeting with a therapist once a week to help me learn some skills to cope with all of this. Want to see one? Sure. But you have to take off the sock. Take off the sock? Just do it. All right. Now, hold me up and spread me apart. Isn't that gonna hurt? Just do it. All right. Now, I inhale and I exhale and I inhale and I exhale and I inhale and I exhale and I inhale and I exhale, and then I feel a little bit better. That's pretty cool. Now, can you put my sock back on before I catch hypothermia or something? All right. Hurry up, I'm freezing. Okay. Stewart, it's pretty cool that you're seeing a therapist to help you cope with all of this. So, you must be pretty excited. School is starting in like a week. I am. I love school, but I'd much rather go to school. I'm starting 6th grade, and we get to take an after-school acting class. It's online, but it's still an acting class, which I am super excited about because I plan to be the first Indian Marvel superhero, Submariner. So, I have to get started now. I also have to put on some muscle. Yeah, a lot of muscle. You're funny. I know, I am so funny. Not so much. So, what's the first thing you're gonna do when the virus is gone and the fires are gone and Black lives finally matter? My mom has been working on getting my dad a visa, and as soon as we're gonna do that, we're gonna send him a plane ticket so he can come here, and then we're gonna pick him up from the airport and drive straight to Burger King to get me and my dad's favorite thing in the world, a double Whopper with cheese and fries, of course. And then, the next day, my mom and dad are gonna take me to see the new Marvel movie that's coming out, Avengers Infinity Saga. Can you believe it? Submariner, isn't he like a superhero who's only super in water? That would be wrong. Namor, the Submariner's mother, is from Atlantis, and he does live in the water, but he also has other superpowers that are not as well known. And he used to be an anti-hero, but now he's not. Can you even swim? I can dog paddle. The dog paddle is pretty lame looking. I'm 11. I'll learn how to swim like an Olympian by the time I become a famous Marvel actor. You can't just become a Marvel actor. You have to do other kinds of acting first. And how do you know they're gonna want a brown-skinned superhero? Duh, Black Panther. And my dad says it doesn't matter if you're black or brown as long as you can help people earn some green. How often do you get to talk to your dad? I talk to him every other day, and I can't wait until he calls me tomorrow because he tells me super funny jokes. Want to hear one? Sure. What's a nosy pepper do? What? Get all up in your business. That's pretty funny. Wait a minute, Stewart, I think I hear my mom coming. So, time to put you away. Aw, can I hear another joke first? Tomorrow, Stewart. Say goodbye, Stewart. Goodbye, Stewart. Hi, part of my day.
Hey guys, my name is Henri Franklin, and I am a Breath Project curator on behalf of Detroit Public Theater, based right here in Detroit, Michigan, where I'm an actor. The piece you're about to see is entitled 846, and it was submitted by Angela G. King from Detroit, Michigan, home of Breath Project theater partner, Detroit Public Theater. Enjoy, guys.
On May 25th, 2020, George Floyd died after Officer Derek Chauvin knelt on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
When I first saw the George Floyd video, I just thought, here we go again. I don't want to say I'm numb to news like this, I've just come to accept it.
I had a job interview, so I was dressed nicely, wearing a suit, looking good. I get pulled over, my heart starts pounding through my chest.
My brother was driving the car. The cops pulled up on us and really shook me up. He asked for my ID, which was weird because I was the passenger. I asked him, what did we get stopped for? He never said.
1, 2, 3. That's how many times strangers have called the cops on my son at the mere sight of him in the less than 2 years that he's been away at college.
What the cop did was wrong. It was murder. He deserves to go to jail. But the rioting and looting, there's no excuse for that.
It used to be almost like folklore. You'd hear about it but didn't see it, but now it's everywhere. I grew up hearing it. My daughter is growing up seeing it.
At approximately 1 minute in, George Floyd says, "I can't breathe," for the first time.
People lie to the police all the time. They lie about who they are. They lie about not having drugs or weapons on them. And they lie about not being able to breathe.
A phrase he would use 16 times.
Arguing with people on social media is my jam, and my family gives me plenty of opportunity.
At 1 minute and 25 seconds, a bystander says, "You've got him down, let him breathe."
I guess because I asked him what he stopped us for, that pissed him off.
The cop approached, his hand on his gun.
When you're taught first aid, you're taught that if someone can speak, they can breathe.
At around 2 minutes in, he calls for his mama.
I can't adequately express how much this reality unnerves me. Ahmaud Arbery, Botam Jean, Philandro Castile, Freddie Gray, Tremere Rice, Eric Gardner, Oscar Grant, Michael Brown Jr., Trayvon Martin.
At 2 minutes and 20 seconds, he says his neck hurts.
Ronald Madison, James B. Brissett Jr. The list of black sons slaughtered on the altar of entrenched racism goes on and on. My son, who stands more than 6 feet tall, distinctly mellow in voice and demeanor, with a face of lingering adolescence, masked by a goatee that barely shadows his chin.
At 2:40, a bystander points out that George Floyd's nose is bleeding.
I witnessed this man-child blossom from the toddler who first revealed his knack for the creative with the uncanny likeness of Spider-Man via What's Possible with Crayola, to the animated boy who took his Apple iPod Nano and created one-man short films, complete with settings and soundtracks and costuming, to the insightful teenager who could freestyle rap lyrics at the drop of a beat, who came out of high school with a 3.5 grade point average and tens of thousands of dollars in scholarship offers. But what is any of this against a world so convinced that men like him?
A bystander reminds the officer that he's dealing with a human being.
Black men are best suited for lockup or an early grave. Timothy Cochran, Jordan Davis, Amadou Diallo, James Byrd, Fran Hampton, Lemuel Penn, Emmett Till, Felix Hall, As a mother of my own perceived threat to the public good, I consider their fate. And I can't help but fall prey to the temptation to wonder, will the young man who came from me escape this carnage? Or will they kill my son too? My only child.
At approximately 4 minutes in, George Floyd speaks for the last time. He says, "I can't breathe."
My aunt on Twitter. Black Lives Matter doesn't do anything to help. They're arming themselves and they're a threat to the police and community.
This isn't about police brutality. It's about criminality. I've read stories about rioters and looters being bussed in and paid by the hour.
Well, if they went back to peaceful protesting like Kaepernick, we wouldn't be in this mess. That was some guy on Facebook who apparently was trying to hook up with me.
At just under 5 minutes, Officer Chauvin pulls out his mace.
I don't usually think about it often, but the fact that I think about it at all just kind of speaks to a bigger issue. I just think it's crazy that the scariest situation that I've ever had with the cops was when we weren't doing anything wrong.
He asked me my license and registration. I can't find my wallet. I must have forgot it. He pulls out his gun. Now he has his gun drawn on me. Now we have a problem, he says. You been smoking weed, he asks? Now weed isn't my thing. I haven't done it since college. It's been over 10 years. He says he smells weed. Then I see another cop car pull up on the scene. They pull me out of the car, put me in handcuffs, and put me down on the ground right in the middle of a busy intersection while I'm wearing my suit.
We still don't know why we were stopped that night. All I know is when I see that red and blue, I don't know what the fuck is about that.
When he finally lets me go, he tells me that he stopped me because I have out-of-state plates. So apparently, driving with out-of-state plates is a crime. I never did make it to that interview.
In '92, during the Rodney King riots, the police lined up with shotguns and riot gear and protected Beverly Hills. Now, they don't do anything.
A blue line isn't a code of silence. If anything, a blue line means that we have to have each other's backs while we're out there on the street. Our lives depend on it. Those two young guys, they were new on the job. You can't blame them. They turned to their training officer for what to do.
When I watched that video, it's almost like I saw that dude's soul leave his body.
To be completely honest, I haven't watched the video. I just couldn't. I just have this rage and anger built up. I know that if I were to watch it, I'd be walking around with this disdain for law enforcement and Caucasian people. And that's not needed or necessary. I know my breaking point.
7 minutes and 25 seconds, EMTs arrive on the scene. They check for his pulse. Chauvin keeps his knee on George Floyd's neck.
They didn't follow procedure. Once they had him secured, they should have sat him up. They should have put him in a car.
I think because it's an election year, the politicians are more into it, but where were you when all those other people were killed? When the elections are over, we've got to keep up with the fight because it's not about people like me anymore, it's about my daughter. My daughter has to grow up in a better world.
After 8 minutes and 46 seconds, Officer Chauvin finally removes his knee from George Floyd's throat.
Only after being prompted by EMT.
He is loaded onto a stretcher, put in the ambulance, and at 9:25 that evening, declared dead.
Maybe one day I'll be able to watch the video.
It's almost like I saw that dude's soul leave his body.
At least now, he's with his mama.
Good afternoon. My name is Jamal Abdel Chaser, Artistic Director of the Breath Project. I want to first say our apologies for any technical difficulties that you may have experienced. We did have some on our end, so I apologize for that. I hope that everything's up and running for you now, and I hope you can enjoy the rest of our festival. The piece you are about to watch is Breonna's Prayer, submitted by Harvey of Flint, Michigan, home of the Breath Project's theater partner, Flint Repertory Theater. Enjoy.
I'm not Breonna Taylor. I'm Harvey. But much like Breonna Taylor, I'm gonna die tonight. In my bed, at the hands of police. I don't know that yet, or maybe I do. When you're black, you always kind of know you're gonna die, but it's just a relief when you don't. I'm just getting ready for bed right now.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And if the pigs decide I die and make the entire nation cry, because I'll die before I wake, it's not the Lord for my soul to take.
When I think of the life of Breonna, not her personality or anything like that, I don't know if we would be friends, but the every day-to-day life, it looks a lot like me. Go to work, go to school, make some dinner, go to sleep. Go to work, go to school, make some dinner, go to sleep. Go to work, go to school, make some dinner, go to sleep. Go to work, go to school, make some dinner, go to sleep. Go to work, go to school, make some dinner, go to sleep. Go to work, go to school, make some dinner, go to sleep. It looks a lot like yours too. Have you ever gotten in bed and thought, wow, I'm gonna die tonight? Of course not.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. My great-great-grandma was a slave. A very long path she did pave. If she knew then what we know now, would Breonna be in the ground?
I don't trust white women. I've tried. I have tried to trust white women. They disappoint you at every turn. Have you ever made a white woman cry in the workplace? Of course not. I have. Breonna probably had. Any black woman with a backbone has made a white woman cry in the workplace. They love crying in the workplace. They're so used to doing and saying and getting whatever they want that when you say, "No, Megan, you have to treat me like a person with flesh and blood because I'm a person with flesh and blood," they can't fathom it. This Niagara Falls in that bitch.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. I always wanted some kind of fame for folks like Oprah to know my name. When I die and you're all sad, make sure I am the top hashtag.
I wonder how many there were like me. Specifically, between the passing of the Civil Rights era and the passing of the Civil Rights Act and the invention of the camera phone, how many black people were legally killed at the hands of police? 10? 100? 1,000? 100,000? Million? Imagine a world where when I die tonight, no one knew. I mean, you'll know. You'll be sitting right there when I die tonight.
Now I lay me down to sleep. Oh dear God, my soul to keep. All pigs do is shoot and lie. But 'cause I'm black, I'm gonna die? No, Nicole, there's no goodbyes. I'll be gone before the sunrise.
We weren't here for a good time. We weren't here for a long time either. Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Botham John, Yvonne Smallwood, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor.
Hello, I'm Mel Nieves, a Breath Project curator on behalf of the Cherry Lane Theater in New York City. I'm very proud to be introducing the piece that you're about to watch, titled O Maria, submitted by my dear friend and fellow Labyrinth Theater Company member, Yetta Gottesman of San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Day 1, September 20, Prelude to the Dark. We have just gotten power back 3 days ago, after Hurricane Irma's passing. 13 days without power, and Irma skimmed by 35 miles north of us. She blew us a wet kiss and we lost power for almost 2 weeks. Jonathan kept telling me we would be without power for months, and I refused to believe it. Mom is with us. My boss has been traveling and has offered us use of his high-end apartment as it has an emergency power generator for the building, a planta. It's on all day, like nothing happened. Full power, elevators to get us to the 16th floor, working fridge, the whole shebang. When power comes back, we move back to our apartment and prepare for Maria. Well, we have been preparing. I buy water, lentils, fill my gas tank, take $400 in cash out of the bank. I spend the 3 days prepping my mom's house for the hurricane. I shut the windows tight. I bring all her plants that are outside in planters into the house, all of them. Mommy has a green thumb. Back at our apartment in Condado, we close all the windows tight. They are hurricane proof. Jay and I tie the windows with thin rope that he has in the odds and ends drawer in the kitchen. We devise intricate knots and patterns. We tie the kitchen windows to the fridge, to the wooden hutch in the living room that has these little wooden knobs running down the front. We have taut string everywhere. You have to duck under it or you run the risk of slicing your head off. It's the Puerto Rican version of Catherine Zeta-Jones's scene with the lasers from Entrapment. We are ready. It's 5:30 p.m. We are told to hunker down by 6:30 p.m. We still have to drive our cars to covered garages. Jonathan drives his car to his office's covered garage, and he Ubers back. And I drive my car to my boss's covered garage 3 blocks away. And the minute I park, the skies part. And the wind starts to bellow. I am shit out of luck. I approached the 3 Dominican guys who were by the lobby putting up the last of the wooden boards to protect the lobby windows. Oye, me pueden dar pon? Can you give me a lift? They tell me they are not done, but they can take me home shortly. It's raining in every direction, up, down, sideways, and the palm trees bend over with the ráfagas, the strong hurricane force winds that are already touching ground. I have no choice but to wait, to ride with these 3 strangers, which reminds me of that time post 9/11 when I had to get uptown to a doctor's appointment and no taxis were allowed below 14th Street. The bus wasn't coming. I had a leg in a cast. I stuck out my thumb and someone stopped. He drove me all the way to East 90th Street. I remember All You Need Is Love playing on the radio. We rode in silence. They drive me home. Our garage is already flooded from the rain. They drive me all the way up to the gate so my feet don't get wet. Now we wait. Jay, Mom, our dog Buster, and I hunker down in the library and watch the news on TV until the power goes off. It's about 8:30 p.m. Mommy is somewhat confused and scared despite my best efforts. I turn up the battery-operated radio and change the station to music. I'm not sure how long stations will be on air, but we play it by ear, as my dad used to say. At around 11:30 p.m., shit starts to get real. Water is getting in everywhere. Rain. Once we have gone through all the towels and sheets and comforters, we resort to using sponges. The ones we buy at Costco to do the dishes. One side is spongy yellow and the other is a scratchy green. One in each hand and on our knees like Cinderella before the ball. We soak up the water and squeeze it into a bucket. We soak up the water and squeeze it into a bucket. It's labor intensive, but let me tell you, that shit worked better than the towels. If you are ever in a hurricane or a ship that's taking on water, I highly recommend these sponges. Jay and I worked the whole night keeping our apartment from imploding. The eye of the hurricane has passed through San Juan. We survived. Our second hurricane. How romantic. We moved back to my boss's apartment. He is still traveling and won't be able to get back on the island anytime soon. We walk our belongings over in bags and old lady supermarket carts. We make 7 trips. The avenue that runs behind our apartment, Ashford Avenue, is covered in fallen trees and sand. The ocean stretched all the way to the street about a mile out. There are live electrical cables on the ground. I wear my rain boots. There are people on the streets. We're like zombies, walking around in a daze. I see a gaggle of young tourists. They are laughing and taking selfies. I seethe. At my boss's building, they are running with a generator, but after 4 days, they run out of diesel, and diesel is scarce and being rationed. U.S. Marshals guard the trucks. We live without power and water there for 6 days. Day 21, October 10, in Boca del Lupo, in the mouth of the wolf. Mom has been waking up at 1:30 a.m. because she ran out of sleeping pills and can't sleep. She cleans the bathroom, reorganizes everything, and puts things where they belong. She is restless. She wakes us up. We have run out of Unisum. She wants to go home, and we have run out of Unisum. You see, now post-Maria every day was a day of missions, survival missions, telecommunications missions, food run missions, water missions, ice location missions. Now, most missions take up the whole day. Ice mission being the worst. There was no ice anywhere. We needed ice to keep food fresh in the Yeti cooler. And today was a full day full of missions. Main mission, searching for Unisum, which is hard to find because everyone in Puerto Rico is searching for Unisum. No one can sleep. Blame the heat, the stress. Maria. October 13, Exodus. Jay flies out of Puerto Rico for work. Tells me people on his flight clap when they get on the plane because there is air conditioning and they are getting off island. We used to clap when we landed. Now we clap when we leave. Every night, Mommy lists the names of her siblings out loud so she doesn't forget. Jorge, Ivan, Anibal, Esther, Olguita, Puki, and yo. Sometimes she asks if I'm her daughter. She says she'll never forget who I am. We'll see. I down a Unisum with a glass of Pinot Noir that has turned sour overnight. I drink it anyway. Day 29, October 18. TV is the devil. We are still at my boss's apartment. The building has rigged the generator to the cable receiving box for the cable company. We have cable and Wi-Fi now at 6 p.m. through the next morning at 9 a.m. Now, I haven't watched TV in a year and 2 months we have lived in Puerto Rico. Just streaming on Hulu, Netflix, etc., but not TV. I also haven't read beauty magazines in the same amount of time, or gossip magazines. It's better for me to abstain. I make the mistake of watching Access Hollywood and The Voice, and I am now depressed with the vapidness of it all, and it makes me miss New York and LA. First world problems, white people problems. I feel very alone. I watch Eyewitness News at 7, suddenly miss Roz Abrams. I feel I have lost myself a little. Day 96, December 24, Con Ed. I drive down the street onto Mom Street and it's blocked by 2 Con Ed New York trucks. I pull over and start to sob out of relief and joy and sadness for the 4 months without power we have had to endure. We will have power soon. Mom will have power soon. More to come.
Hello, y'all. My name is Aldo Billingslea, and I'm on the land of the Chichenyo-speaking Ohlone people. I'm a Breath Project curator on behalf of the Marin Theater Company in Mill Valley, California, under the artistic direction of Jason Menedakis, and I'm also a member of the board of the Lorraine Hansberry Theater under the artistic direction of Margot Hall. The piece that you're about to watch is Views of Color in 8 minutes and 46 seconds, submitted by Detroit, Michigan actor Henri Franklin.
Black man in America? I don't know if I had time for all of that. Where do I begin? Really not too sure, but I'll start off with this pen. The one you use on paper, not the one trapping our kin. The one that tells lies about history to cover our eyes like a brim and bury the truth like shadows, like silhouettes from a scrim. I want to ask a couple questions about this land that we're in. And really take the time to listen, then answer me at the end. Like how Klansmen claim Christian, but killing blacks not a sin? We supposed to love each other, right? So how you lynch with a grin? This is America, so when was the great again? Would it be a different story if our shoes you walked in? Like what if your son was killed for a hoodie he was wearing? Or if your daughter was shot in her own home because of a call from a Karen? What if you were given their eulogy about how your life has shattered and in the crowd someone yells, "Hey buddy, all lives matter"? What if you were told you can't live here because it's actually written in the laws? What if the pigment of your skin was used for just cause? What if a whole race of people sailed into your neighborhood, say, "Look what we found, y'all," and started taking all that they could? But here's the real kicker. What if they never leave? You do all you can to stop them, but your weapons are made from the trees. They've got spears that make thunder, but from their hands it never leaves. There's a stinging in your chest, and you find it hard to breathe. You can't breathe. You can't breathe. Put a noose around your own neck. I wonder how hard you'd squeeze. Put shackles on your son's arms and tell them they're shirt sleeves. They take your wives, mothers, and daughters and have their way as they please. Now they have to live with the trauma in a belly with foreign seed as they watch your last breath fall from your chest where you bleed. So what would you do? How would you react? Could you walk around in Gucci's if they fit you like that? The hardship of this plight, I wouldn't wish on another. But someone made a wish and it landed on people of color. And I can't even lie, right here, I want to take a break because of all we've endured to this venom called hate. But I can't. Yo, that's funny. You know what that means. But now that I have your attention, I need your help with some things. I need your help to find the words that I seek. So when I rhyme and take a pause, scream out the word that you think. No, like for real, like really scream it out, like seriously, for real. Well, but hold on, my people. Before we get geeked, we got things we need to correct. You know that stuff we don't speak? Things we learn from older folk who didn't know that they teach with their actions, not their words. So our eyes heard all of their speech. Like how we got all of this sidewalk, but still walk in the street. Take high blood pressure medication, but don't change how we eat. Hey, she ain't got no daddy, dog. I bet she a freak. Make eye contact with a brother. Look grim. Don't speak. Man, who taught us this? It's what we learned in the street. God forbid that you smile, because now you either gay or a geek. Side note, don't think either of those people are weak. I know some cats that'll wear a skirt, but they'll delete your front teeth. And before you go to bully the smart kid who can't dance, don't forget they designed the cell phones you use for your TikTok fans. Let's talk about some cycles that rotate like kebabs on the flame, because maybe if we speak on it, some of our choices might change. Like, all right, like, so how we making babies with folks we don't like? The child looked just like them, so you pissed off on the sight of this angel you brought here because you ain't wrap it up that night. You just wanted to bust a... Ooh, you nasty. But you know what, you're right. You skinny dipped in that ocean, now you got a little tight. You blame it on the Henny because that helped you sleep at night. But truth is, you made your choice at, hey, condoms? Nah, I'm all right. Treat the baby mama so bad, her next dude is a dyke. So what about this kid? Who they grow up to be like? The dad that ain't there or the mama they speak like? Dress like, dance like, no woman in the fam got a man who, so who you think this child is gonna think like? And I know things happen. So I'm not saying it's wrong or it's right. But the path of a child can change with both masculine and feminine insight. Like all areas of life, balance is key. If you seek non-biased wisdom, then both sides you must see. Like, if a cop is scared of your skin and ain't treating you right, is it really the best option to put up that physical fight? Yo, I know you really want to, because that junk just ain't right. And your mama ain't raised no hoe. So for sure, it's night-night. And you know this wouldn't happen had your epidermis been white, but is it really worth your pride if your kids don't see you tonight? Or ever again? Unless your name pops up on Instagram, hashtag RIP to my friend? Nah, I know what you're saying. Hey, yo, bro, you lying. There are many who comply, but they still end up dying. As sad as that is, I can't deny that it's true. And I really don't have the answer for exactly how to get through the situation and get back to your crew, but 60 shots from 4 cops and their Glock 22, that's some real sad math when it's divided in you. It's a vicious double standard, and yeah, I hate it too. But to see our loved one's face again, that chump burger, we chew. Racism is a sick fight, so use your brain to get through, because not all heavyweight bouts are guaranteed a round 2. I guess some cops try to heal it with a shot, like the flu. And the sad part is they got families just like you, but they'd rather take your life and see their wife. So tell me, what should you do? Others may think I'm lying, but you know that it's true. Now, with that in mind, protect you and your seed. If that means smile and move slow, then this one time, so be it. How you gonna scream at their graduation if you're not alive to see it? And the wild part is, these are thoughts they'll never really have. They'll punch a cop straight in the mouth, take the squad car, and then laugh as they are taken into custody without a knot or a gash. You kneel for that because you black, and they take your face mask. But until the laws change, our rule is to survive, because I'm staying. That was a moment of silence for those who couldn't finish that saying. And I want to let you know that for your family, we've been praying. But I want to say this right here. Some of y'all might get mad, but I can only speak from the experiences I've had. It might be hard to see with social media eyes, so look at it with your heart and tell me if they're lies. Not all cops are bad. Not all folks that are black grow up without a dad. Not all white people are evil. Not all black folks steal. And for us to think that hate is not taught, then that is just not real. Children mimic what they see, so let's show them how to heal, because if we don't, and if we won't, the blood continues to spill. This is America, and I'm gonna tell you when it's great. When kids from different races can hug and play because they haven't learned hate. When we can illuminate our country as more than just black and white, because our Native, Hispanic, Asian, and Middle Eastern fam all deserve to be in that light. So does every other race of people who lay their heads here at night. So do we really want to fix the problems? Or do we just want to fight? Think of who you love the most in this world, for who you give up your life. Now treat everyone here with that same love. That's what great again looks like.
Hello, this is Pramila Vasudevan, a Breath Project curator on behalf of Pillsbury House Theater in Minneapolis, located 3 blocks from where George Floyd was murdered. I am the program director for Naked Stages and Early Career Performance Artist Opportunity. And the piece that you are about to watch is Just Breathe, submitted by Ananya Dance Theater of St. Paul, Minnesota.
breathe, 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 breathe.
Hi, my name is Sasha Grandois, and I'm with Southern Rep Theater, and I'm a curator, one of the curators of the Breath Project. And I'm also the artistic coordinator at Southern Rep Theater in New Orleans, Louisiana. And the project and the piece that I would like to introduce today is Don't Be Afraid, submitted by Giovanny, Camarena.
A taco shop in downtown LA. It's 6 p.m., June 7th, 2020. The streets are empty. There is no one buying tacos. Manny works at the front of the house. He is tired from almost completing a 10-hour shift. It's summer. It's hot.
Raquel, no manches, güey, no hay nadie.
Ya cálmate, ahorita vienen.
I guess?
Look, people are slowly starting to go out. It's the weekend. People come here to get drunk, eat tacos,
and then go home to have sex.
I want to go home and sleep.
Don't be boring.
Hey, have you seen that video going around?
Oh yeah, the one of the kid in the Elsa dress.
What? No, the one of George Floyd, pendeja.
I have.
I didn't. I don't want to see it.
Bro, why?
Stuff gets me down. I don't know. Heard it was bad. I'll just take your word for it.
Fine. Do you.
Alonso, quit playing.
Just know you're hurting your own raza, güey.
Ugh, fine. Let me see it.
Yeah. Let her watch it. So have you heard about the riots?
Yeah, my mom was telling me about it.
Man, fuck this shit. I wish I could be out there with them now.
Are you crazy?
What? You think it's crazy to riot?
Yeah, for us at least. We aren't even black.
No mames.
I taught her that. Really, Manny, who gives a fuck? This is our freedom we're talking about. Listen to me. They're gonna write about this in history books. Where do you want to be? In this janky taco shop? Or out there fighting the good fight?
I want to not be wearing this mask.
The phone. I've seen enough.
Don't be a baby.
Like, seriously, I have sweat all over my face. It's not even sweat. It's like slime.
Hi there. Do you guys have carne asada?
We do.
Great. Could I get one of those and the largest water you have?
Of course. I feel you. It's super hot outside today.
Marching isn't helping. Crowds are packed.
Oh, you're marching for BLM?
Sure am.
Good for you. It's about time people spoke up.
We've been speaking up. People are just not starting to listen. Yeah.
You're not scared of the cops?
Those people work for us. They want to kill me in the streets, so be it. Probably die eventually. The system's always out to get me, man.
Use your taco and your water.
Thanks. But don't be afraid. You need unity right now. Thanks for the taco.
Thank you.
This, te dije, güey, you gotta stop being scared. That guy was black and even he's out in the streets.
I don't want to put my safety at risk.
See, that right there is part of the issue. What if it was kids at the border, eh? You'd be out there. Get pinche safety que nada.
No, you're right. But I can't know I'm at a bigger risk if I get caught.
Okay, and?
Shouldn't have showed me that video, man.
Ay, por favor, Alonso, take it to the back.
Okay.
She exits. Suddenly, a mass swarm of people begin to cross in front of the taco shop. All different shades, sizes, and smells march in front of the glass window. People are holding signs that say BLM, shirts with ingrained anti-police propaganda, and yelling at the top of their lungs. It's a stark contrast from the silence of the shop earlier today.
Oh, look at that. So many people.
Wow.
I want to go. Do you think I'd get in trouble if I went?
Guys, there's people yelling and smashing stuff in the alley?
Really?
Hello, you've reached Pete's Tacos in downtown LA. How can I help you?
Hi there. Oh my gosh, it's a cute little boutique shop. I love it.
Thanks.
Oh, what type of tacos do you guys have? Oh, I see you have like carne asada. Can I get one of those with sparkling water?
We just got tap.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I grew up drinking tap water.
Yeah, that'll be $6.
Do you guys have Apple Pay?
Uh,
It's okay. I might have some cash.
What does your mask say?
Oh, it says Black Lives Do Indeed Matter.
Oh,
You think? I figured it was like the least I could do. I posted a picture on Insta and it got good reception, so I'm gonna wear it to the riot.
Here's your taco.
Thank you so much. You guys take it easy. Muchos gracias.
Adios. Pendejo. You see that shit? The audacity posting pics to my Instagram. Por favor.
His mask was cool.
Okay, thank you. Hey, guys, the boss says he wants us to close down until the people pass.
Are you serious?
Finally a break.
Yeah, he said that the rioters have been vandalizing several shops in cities everywhere, and he doesn't want us to be in the middle of it. He said do it right now.
Is he joking? They're not gonna do anything to us.
I'm going to close the front door.
Hold up.
Raquel runs to the back of the store, grabs her bag, and throws her hairnet and gloves in the trash.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go march.
Raquel, you just heard Manny. They're looting in the streets.
You're gonna get in trouble.
What? We're gonna be closed for the rest of the night. Might as well join them. Don't be afraid, pendejos.
She exits.
Bro, we're gonna get in trouble.
No, she's right. We're gonna be closed. The boss won't even notice.
Does that mean we can go home?
You can go. I'm gonna stay behind and make sure everything's locked up.
Okay. Be careful, Manny. I'm leaving.
You too.
She exits. Manny walks to the front of the store to lock the door. Before he does, another customer walks in. It's a police officer.
Hi, are you open?
Sure, come on in. What can I get for you?
I'll take 3 chicken tacos.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's been a crazy night out there, man.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, people are angry.
I bet that video was really upsetting.
Yeah, it was, but the police did what they had to do.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, here's your tacos.
What do you mean?
Nothing. Never mind.
No, it's okay. You can trust me. Just don't be afraid.
I just thought it was kind of brutal.
Yeah, I've seen worse.
I bet. You're all good to go.
Bye now.
Bye, thank you.
The cop exits and Manny goes to lock the front door. As he's closing the doors and just about to lock them, Raquel shows back up. She's breathing heavily and is knocking on the glass. Her hand is bloody. Manny lets her in.
Annie! Let me in! Oh, fuck.
Raquel, what happened? Are you okay?
I think someone stepped on me. That's when I started bleeding. Oh, it didn't even last 5 minutes.
Here, we have a first aid kit in the back.
No, stop. I want to do something first.
Raquel begins to undo the bandage wraps. She begins rearranging the chalkboard. She's wiping down the entire menu. She stands on a chair. She turns the chalk on its side and begins to coat the entire chalkboard in white chalk. Manny stares in amazement as the crowd behind him continues to pass by. The board is now completely white. Raquel begins to draw with her bloody hand. The crowd is roaring in the back. Manny turns to look when suddenly the crowd stops. It's silent.
Hey, look, the crowd's gone.
Raquel steps down to reveal a beautiful photo of George Floyd drawn in blood. He is beautiful. He is Black.
Jamal Abdel Jason, Artistic Director of the Breath Project, and you were just watching Giovanny Camarena, Los Angeles, California, Cornerstone Theater Company. I just want to let you know that I'm getting ready to introduce the last video, and before I do that, we are going to have a quick talk back afterwards. So if you have any questions, feel free to start and put those questions in the chat right now. And the next piece you're going to watch is called 3-Story Walk-Up. It was performed by Aldo Billingslea, and I wrote it, but Aldo brought it to life. The piece is, yeah, you'll see what it is. And with that said, check out 3-Story Walk-Up.
3-story walk-up, crickety-ass steps, rent control, one of the few left, passed down from my sister who had it before me. Bed in the bedroom, because that's all it'll fit. One sofa and a coffee table across from the kitchen. Simple but cheap. Dark and dingy. No view to see. Look out both windows. All I see, bricks. But life is good with a flat 37-inch screen, cable, cigarettes, some chips. Because the NBA is back today, baby. Yeah. I'm waiting 4 months for this. I wish David was here to watch this. Oh, we used to sit down and analyze the Knicks. Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Charles Oakley, the enforcer. That's how we bonded. How we said, I love you every time the net went swoosh. Go Lakers, go Lakers, go Lakers. Gotta win the championship. I missed the first quarter. They down by 6. It's okay, it's okay. Come on, LBJ. Oh, come on, LeBron. You can't pass up a shot like that. Get everybody else involved. AD's in the paint. Kick out to AD and let him post. No. AD. What the hell is your tall ass doing shooting the 3? Oh man, stop shooting 3s. Shit. Everybody want to be like Steph. Yeah, that little high yellow motherfucker changed the game. He fucked it up is what he did. Everybody in the league want to shoot 3s. Motherfuckers can't shoot 2s, shooting 3s. Halftime, and now they ass down by 10. I can't watch this shit. I can't watch this. I can't watch it. They suck. They got AD and LeBron, and they still suck. How the hell you have 2 of the best ball players in basketball and still suck? I waited 4 months for this shit. Only thing to look forward to for 4 months for them to suck. My son Dave was better than all y'all. But nobody let me know it though. Oh, I'm losing my fucking mind. Sit inside this damn coffin all by myself. Goddamn right I'm talking to myself. Who the fuck else am I gonna talk to, huh? Say shit out loud, I usually only think. Talk to the TV all the time, but the TV don't talk back. I mean, TV talks, but it don't tell me what I need to hear. The only person who can keep up with my thinking is me. Nobody looking out for me. But me, divorced, no job, on disability, medically at high risk for this COVID shit, cancer, rectal cancer, otherwise known as cancer of the ass cancer. Who ever heard of some shit like that? No pun intended. Chemo finished last week and I'm still weak. Since Corona been in town, I've had the same routine. Get up, wash up, only when I stink, roast my cafe con leche, read the New York Times, watch reruns of Let's Make a Deal and breaking news on CNN, eat lunch, ramen noodle and tuna fish sandwich, because fixed income needs some fixing. Drink a bunch of that tap water out these contaminated pipes. Nothing to look forward to. And I would kill myself, except I'm afraid to die. Been doing the same thing every day for 4 months, almost 5. And I don't really feel safe to go outside, even with a mask. And I can't afford no one to Insta shop for me. I had to go chemotherapy, so just be on the safe side. I take an alcohol bath every time I get back and before I leave. Make sure I ain't got none of that 19 on me. I can be half happy, at least the NBA is back, but I ain't gonna be able to watch the Lakers if they gonna play like that. Man. And they ain't even let the Knicks in the bubble. They so bad, I got to root for a team clear across the country. That's why athletes shouldn't be a fucking hero, because they will disappoint you. They're only human. Serves us right for making them godlike. They are the fastest and the most powerful and most driven members of our societies, but they brittle and imperfect. On most of them, you can spot a crack on their armor, a weakness, a natural human flaw. I mean, don't get me wrong, they got hard, big old hard. That's why you had Bill Russell and Kareem standing behind Ali, and why Kaepernick took a knee, with these future NBA players taken to the streets. But there's more out there like it, Johnny Manziel's, Ray Lewis, Antonio Brown's, than you would think. Brittle, cracked, weakness, brittle and imperfect. David was an athlete, gifted, played all 3 sports, all 3. Basketball, baseball, football, bounce ball, hit ball, hurt ball. Takes after me. All right. So I thought he had scouts all through high schools, recruiters from some of the best colleges in the country. And then one day he comes home and says, you don't think he won't play in college? That he's been struggling with his identity. And I'm thinking, well, okay, he's biracial. And I start with, I get it. Your mother's, and I'm black, so you black, that makes you black. But he wasn't talking about that. And then he cut me off, talking about, I don't get it, that I don't understand, and that he feels he's a woman, that he's never felt like a man, and he's raising his voice and flailing his arms and saying he wants to medically transition. At that point, my right hand went slap right across his jaw. I knocked that little faggot to the floor, and I can feel the neck vein bulging and my saliva sliding down my chin, and I am livid. And I haven't seen him since. He chooses not to speak to me. My door is always open, the invite extended. You ain't gonna walk through it, are you? Guess I'm gonna take my ass to bed. Try it again tomorrow. 3-story walk up, crickety ass steps, rent control. One of the few that are left.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for coming to the Breath Project's inaugural virtual theater festival. I hope you had opportunities to listen and take it all in. We are going to get ready for our talk back. So now I think we are ready for the chat. And let's see, Marika, are you there?
I am.
You are. Marika, you're going to lead this thing, right?
So thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. And thanks to all of the artists for joining us today, also to be part of this Q&A. As Jamal said, we're just incredibly humbled and honored to be working with all of you and to be in front of so many people across the country who tuned in to just be a part of this with us. The first question we have is actually for our youngest participant, Mahir. Mahir, I hope you don't mind if I out you that you are age 12 in Palo Alto, California, although it looks like you might be in a car. And Mahir, can you tell us a little bit about what this experience was like for you and how it might have been different from you than other plays that you've been in?
I mean, it was different to start in the sense that we were in the middle of a pandemic. So that in itself was different. And then I think just having it be like a monologue with a conversation between yourself and why the cause that it was supporting that also made it different. But I think that it was in some sense more important than those other plays that I've done. So yeah.
What do you mean by it's more important? How does that
I think like it was for a important cause, and I think just that it was supporting that gave it a lot more meaning.
That's very well said. And then can I just ask you a silly question? Had you ever had to memorize this many lines before, Mahir?
No.
And did we give you very long to memorize them, or did you have to do it really fast?
I mean, it wasn't like an incredibly short amount of time, but it wasn't like I had months to do it.
Really, you did it in a couple of days, so you're being very modest. Thank you so much, Mahir.
Like 5 pages of text, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, he really did that. So awesome. Henri, can we take the next question over to you, please? Can you talk about a little bit about the challenge of developing something that is with such a specific technical requirement, of 8 minutes and 46 seconds, and how that may have shaped the piece or supported the piece or hindered the process, and what that was like for you?
First off, thank you guys for allowing us to have this platform to speak from our hearts and our souls. It was an honor to be a part of it. It was a little challenging, but it was fun though, because as I started writing it, I realized I was like, whoa, like I'm rhyming everything. I feel like a modern day Dr. Seuss right now, but everything that I said, I've either experienced or it was very, very real and very, very true. Like when I rewatched the piece, it's always amazing to me that it was able to rhyme for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, but it told stories from different people's perspectives to definitely say, hey, this is what's happening. Are you contributing to this? And if so, is it good? Is it bad? But the fact that it was 8 minutes and 46 seconds long, it seemed a little intimidating at first. But literally, I woke up one night, middle of the night, and I couldn't go back to sleep. And I literally just picked up my cell phone and started typing it out. And it just flowed. And anybody who's a writer, you know, like sometimes you hit a pocket where it just flows and you just have to let it go and let it get out, let it get out. And that's kind of what happened, but it worked out at the end. But that 8:46 is good. It's a challenge.
Yeah, well, no, I thank you. It's really well said and really well done. If we could go over to the next question, it's for Yetta. Yetta, the question is, your piece seemed to be a part of a larger piece. And so could you talk a little bit about what that is and where you're going with that or where you've been with that?
Sure. Post Hurricane Maria, I kept a diary. I kept a diary for the whole length of time until we got electricity, which was 4 months later, around Christmas time. We got our power back, and it's basically that I would take my soured wine, bitter wine, and I would write every night because there was really there was nothing else to do. And it was a great way to vent and get everything out. So I wrote this piece, and it's had a workshop. We had maybe 2 days rehearsal, and then I presented it with Labyrinth Theater Company, my theater company in New York. I think it was the winter of, Mel, correct me if I'm wrong, 2018, because 2018. So winter of 2018. And it's still very much a work in progress. I feel like I need to work on the ending, and in working on it now, Marika helped me very graciously pick out snippets to put together for this project, and thank you. But there's a whole, beginning, middle, end, and my mother, who's sitting with me tonight, figures very prominently in it as well. She's been with us since the pandemic hit as well. But yeah, it's very much a work in progress. And even in recording for this, I saw the rewrites I have to do. But it's not done, and it's still in me, and it's also very hard to write because it was a harrowing time. I mean, I had it better than most. I had a roof over my head. When we moved back to our place, we didn't have power. Now we have solar panels and solar powered batteries, and we can run stuff should power go out. But yeah, it is part of a one-person show. Very much in development still 2 years later.
Thank you, Yetta. I'm so glad you were here with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yetta.
The next question is for Jamal. Jamal, Sheila asks, are you going to continue with this project?
Yes, thanks for that question. We are currently planning now. Our next step, again, like I mentioned, and it might have got cut off in the beginning, is we asked our theater partners who came on board to commit to 3 things: bringing on curator of color, supplying resources to the artists that may need them in their region or town, and the last was to commit to some kind of live production once the virus allows for us to all get back together in that way. And beyond that, again, our mission is to try and build a more equitable theater community while dismantling the systemic racism that exists in that. So that said, our hopes is to continue to work with our partners in doing just that, finding ways to make things more equitable across the board when it comes to American theater. And it's a lofty goal, but that's what we're undertaking. And again, we can only do it in partnership. So the strength is in our numbers and our partners. And as long as we have that, I feel that we can pull it off.
I totally agree. Aldo, well, let's send the next question to you. There's something particularly fragile about playing a character that shows us how not black and white we are as people, you know? And could you just talk a little bit about how you approach a character where you, maybe what you read on the page, you as a person might find it difficult or offensive even, and then how do you approach that? How do you get inside of that person?
I always ask first what the character wants, and then try to figure out what's in the way of what they want. And what he wants is his son. He wants his son there with him. He wants his son to watch these games with him. He wants his Knicks in the playoffs, and none of that's happening. And what's in the way of his wanting his son there is the reaction that he had, the violent reaction that he had, and the dehumanizing reaction that he had when his son came out to him and said he wanted to transition. And so, see, I know a lot of males who talk a lot of bravado, and it's used to cover their own inadequacies and vulnerabilities. So trying to remember all those sorts of things, and then just trying to figure out. I mean, Gamal wrote the piece. You maybe ask him some of this, but what it was that he was trying to get at, what direction he was going in, and then try to hopefully honor that.
Thank you. Well, very well done.
Brilliantly done.
And Jamal, actually, that I know that from talking with you when you wrote this, and that you do a lot of solo work or work that is devised. And this was maybe one of the first times where you wrote something and then it was picked up by another actor. And that was I know I'm just going to actually out you and say that you actually had the experience of when we were watching it for the first time, not realizing that it was your writing. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like to have that experience of handing it over to another actor?
Well, it wasn't foreign in the sense, I mean, again, I work with, been fortunate to be a member of Universe's Theater Ensemble for the last 25 years. And we work as an ensemble, so collaboration is what I know. And oftentimes we write and we say what we write, but not always. So it has been moments where I've heard other people utter things that I've put on the page, but this was definitely more specific in that, that I wrote it and I knew it was not for me. And so I think that was different. And because I had been writing a lot, I wanted to talk about something that I hadn't talked about yet. And so that was where that came from.
So a lot of the pieces that we had were solo work, but then we had some larger pieces, and I'd love to talk with a couple of the groups that did those. If we could have the folks who worked with Angela King, if we could have Angela, you and any of your partners that are here, go ahead and unmute. I would love to hear about, we talked with Henri a little bit about that process of writing to this, assignment of 846, but what your devising process was like in this larger group and how you all came together to make that such a cohesive piece.
Sean is here and Shantae are here. We actually started on this project completely clueless, at least for me, to the Breath Project, right after George Floyd was murdered. Just something that Sean came to us and, was passionate about. We were passionate about it. We started, we backtracked, we let it fall to the ground. And then Monday night, September 7th, we just kind of left our egos at the door because we realized we were working on something far bigger than us. And Sean and I know each other, we're in a playwright group together. We've gone and seen each other's work. We're friends. So it was easy to collaborate. It was easy to work with him. And we both fully understood that whatever we were doing was not about us, but something bigger. Yeah,
I think working with Sean, he kind of approached me and said, "Do you have anyone who you would interview just to talk about what has been happening in the community?" And I was excited to be able to ensure that there were a nice variety of voices that would be adding to the project. So I already kind of knew who Sean was thinking about interviewing, knew that he had been working with Angela. And so what I was excited to bring to the project was representation of who else is affected by the masculine, the fear of the Black masculine persona. And so I wanted to bring in the voice of queer masculine women who also are targeted by police, whether because they appear to be a Black man or because of their just similarity to Black men and that fear that police in larger America have. So to see all of the voices come together once Sean and Angela and all of us had seen the project all at once, it was really clear that we had a powerful tapestry of voices from our community.
Could you or someone, that's fantastic, and thank you. Could you or someone from your group talk a little bit about this idea of working from interviews and what that's like to actually work with people who are, especially right now, they're not talking about something that happened 20 years ago necessarily. Like this is very now, and it could be very emotional right now, and it could be emotional for you as the creator as well. What is that like to work with somebody where you're in the moment and you're working with a real person and dealing with their material?
Well, for me, I wrote it from the perspective of the mother of a African-American male. I am the mother of a 22, he just turned 22, African-American male. So I just had to be willing to tap into what it's like to be the mother of an African-American male, to be the daughter of an African-American male, to be the sister of an African-American male. I had to tap into my own personal experiences. Usually, I was a full-time journalist for like almost 20 years. And so I know how to put aside my personal feelings to get to the story is key. It's bigger than you. And that kind of drives me in the work that I do anyway. So that's what it was like for me. I'm guessing it was different for Sean, from his perspective.
Yeah, and are you here, Sean?
Sean, do we have you with us?
I think he may be on the live feed, but not in the Zoom.
Oh, I think we have him, but somehow we might not be getting his volume.
Oh.
Shante, do you want to talk a little about that?
Yeah, for me, I really like writing from oral testimony, but for this one in particular, it was really important for me. Well, I know my subject very well. We've known each other for a bit of time, and so we already have a rapport. So I think that kind of took some of the pressure off, but also thinking about the care for myself and for the person I was interviewing, trying to make sure, like, as I'm asking questions about this very sensitive topic, that I'm not trying to find the trauma, but really just letting the person who I interviewed, Allison, tell her story, and then thinking about, how do we care for people afterwards, after we have this story, and how do we care for people as we're watching these stories? And I don't have an answer for that. I don't know. I think that's part of the sacrifice of trying to tell something authentically, is that that's one of those risks out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you guys for sharing that, and thanks for being here with us. If we could have also, just transitioning over to the folks who are here from Ananya Dance Company, could have you turn your mics on, please. I'd love to hear, so you were also having an ensemble piece, but a very different experience and a much more sort of non-linear story. So if you could just talk us through that devising process and how you got to that beautiful piece of theater.
Thank you so much. I'll start, and Tony, maybe you'll chime in. Yeah.
Sounds great.
So when Tony originally brought up this idea, it was about environmental destruction, particularly for the Black community in the Como area of St. Paul, where Ananya Dance Theater is actually located. And I think what we understood through it all is the way in which Black breath is contested in so many ways, over and over and over again. There's police violence, there's environmental justice, there's so many ways in which constantly it feels like a nonlinear piece, but this idea of recognizing how death and the shortness of breath revisits Black communities all the time was really one of the most difficult and painful things in the process. Tony?
Yeah, and I think like when sort of we did it for an all-night, we did the actual performance installation for an all-night arts festival in Minneapolis, Northern Spark. And for us, I think like it was trying to fix that, the long-term destruction of our communities into a really acute place, right? Everybody knows what it looks like when a Black man is strangled to death by murderers, right? Everybody knows what that looks like. But when you look at the I-95 or the I-94 corridor in St. Paul, which the Black community, the most prosperous Black community in Minnesota, was bulldozed in order to make way for the highway, right? And now the fragments of that community that remain have to deal with the air pollution effects of having that massive transit corridor running right through their community, right? And so when we start to think about the acute and the long distance, right? It's like a frog in boiling water, right? Is that we choose to focus on sometimes the really egregious moments, but we let the creeping horror of environmental injustice and other ways of fighting, attacking our communities go uncontested day to day. So it was really about trying to fix that in a moment so that people had to contend with that.
And it was really, I would say it was one of the most challenging performances. The box Tony built, the building up of smoke throughout, it really felt like a sped up version of life in these communities, because the smoke ultimately engulfs us repeatedly all through the night.
And the dancers, I was, just doing technical production the entire time, but the dancers put an immense amount of energy and even risk into doing the piece, right? Making sure that they were safe was a huge priority of us. But I think it brought a particular emotional resonance, I think, to those of us that were producing it, that even an audience couldn't capture, because like for me, it was the experience of seeing these dancers who I had gotten to know over the rehearsal process, like risk their lives in some ways in order to bring attention to this and in order to fix this broader violence in like a moment. And so when every time someone stepped out of that box at the end of their performance window and we were able to get them water and check in with them and make sure that they were okay and that they hadn't breathed in too much of the smoke, it was a very, I think, just a transformative experience, thinking about how care is the antithesis of violence like that.
And if I might say one more thing really quickly, this piece became significant to us one more time when just here, during the 3rd precinct, we saw police throwing back all these smoke bombs, young people, young protesters, completely engulfed in tear gas and smoke bombs. So I feel like this reliving for the piece performatively, but in real life, the resonance has been really hitting us. So we thank you for an opportunity to revisit the piece again.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you said that. And I think that is a really important point about live theater, which is that, it's not usually a one-off, right? Or it's not always a one-off in any case. It can be, but that we have the chance to evolve, and we're constantly informed by what's happening around us, and that it's going to resonate for so many different reasons. And it would be incredible to get to experience all of these pieces in front of a live audience, and have every member of the audience bringing to the room their experiences. So with that, we want to thank our audience for being here with us, and to everybody who was here with us during the talk back, to all of the artists who shared, to all of the artists in Palo Alto who are there helping put on this production. And hopefully we will be seeing you all in just about an hour for the next part of the Breath Project. Jamal, am I forgetting something?
Marika, real quick, did Harvey, did we have a question for Harvey?
Oh, I am so sorry. Harvey.
We don't.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, I want to bring that over. So if we could all, yes, hang on. Harvey, could you talk a little bit about your development as well? Could you just bring us into like how you got to your piece and what that was like for you?
So I was asked by the artistic director of Flint Repertory Theater, who I've worked with since I was in 6th grade. He brought this breath project to me, and I was like, whenever I tried to sit down and write things, because I write spoken word poetry, and so anytime I try to write things about like what's going on with like people in America, I just like was like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. So this like actually like he brought this to me. I was like, I gotta do this. So I was like, okay, here we go. So at first I was gonna write a poem. And something that kept coming up to me, like in my mind, was that kids' prayer that they teach you when you're a kid, the now I lay me down to sleep. And I'm like, wow, like it actually happened. Like you say it 1,000 times as a kid and it doesn't happen. But then it happened to Breonna Taylor. She died before she woke up. Like she didn't even get to wake up and be like, what is all this commotion, and then die. She just never woke back up. And so that kept playing in my mind. And then I was like, okay, what if I write this piece as Breonna Taylor? So I tried doing that, and then I realized I know nothing about her except for how she died and that she was an essential worker. So I said, okay, I still want to do this, and I want it to be this setup in the bedroom in front of, there was like an audience of 3 people. You could kind of see it in the video. And so I said, well, if I was in Breonna Taylor's shoes and I had one chance to tell the world something before I died, what would I tell the world? And so that's really where, like, that was like the jumping off point. I describe it like you're going into battle, and it's like if you're in a war and the other country has like 1,000 people and you only have like 100 people left, but it's like you gotta rally the troops because you know you're going to die. This is like the war speech of myself. I say if, but like every day I'm in Breonna Taylor's shoes because I could fall asleep and die. Or every day I'm in Ahmaud Arbery's shoes. I think about my brother a lot, who lives in Mississippi and goes on runs often, like he does a run every day. And I'm like, that literally could be my brother. It is my brother until he gets shot. Like, so that's like the jumping, that's like where I came from. Like, we are all in these people's shoes. It's not far away. They are us, we are them. We just haven't got the bullet yet, which is really sad to say, but it could happen at any moment. Oh, there was one more thing. Oh, I really wanted it to be something that made the audience. I thought that it had to be like a live performance. So I was like, okay, how can I get an audience? It's Corona times. Oh my gosh. Like I thought it had to be like a performance. And so I said, and I love making immersive theater. So I said, I'm gonna put it in a bedroom. And I want to have like a small audience to see it. And I want them to feel like they shouldn't be there. I want them to feel like, whoa, this is like a really intimate, personal time. Cause it's like she's getting ready to go to bed. Yeah. This is like a really intimate, personal time. I shouldn't be here, but I wanted them to witness it and like feel it as it was happening to me. So that was my whole process of creating it. It's really like the best thing that I've ever created. So thank you for the opportunity to make something.
I want to share with you that we just also had an audience comment to say they appreciate that you forced yourself to follow through. And I want to echo that. That was really fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, Jamal, take us out.
Yes. So, like Marika said, we got another show at 5 o'clock, and we have 8 new videos for you to watch. So we want you to go get some lunch, get a snack, go to the bathroom, do whatever you need to do. Try to come back at 5 o'clock, and then we got another show tomorrow at 5 o'clock. When I say 5 o'clock, I mean 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. What's that, Central? That would be 7 o'clock, I think. It's too much math for me, man. I can't do it all in the head. So, you know, just come back in an hour, right? And we'll see you soon. All right. Thank you. Peace.
Thanks, everybody.